Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to video 3 in my series, Think and Grow Rich. And today we're going to explore a very interesting question. Do you need to become a different person in order to experience abundance? So chapter 2 in Napoleon Hill book was a very interesting read. It actually surprised me in two different ways, and I'm going to share with you these surprises. The first one is that Napoleon Hill in this chapter mentioned how the world is changing, how we live in a world that we have so many opportunities right now. And he talks about how it's a world where we need to have new ideas, we need to come up with innovative solutions, how we can develop our talent and market our talent to the world. And he talks about how dreamers in the past didn't have all the opportunities that we have now to turn their dreams into a reality. And what surprised me about it is that I felt like he's writing this book now for the world we live in today, where in fact this book was published in 1937, and he's talking about the world post the Great Depression in the States. And so everything he says kind of applies for today's world, as because of the technology that we enjoy, everyone today can take their talents and bring it to the world. It's easier than ever before to follow your passion and purpose and create something around it. And so it was interesting because I felt like he's speaking to people who live today. And this was one of the surprises I had when I read this chapter. And so he goes on to say that the first thing you must have is a clearly defined desire. And again, if you don't know what your purpose or what your desire is, if you're still looking for that thing that really ignite your heart, then I recommend you go on a self-discovery journey, as this is your first step. And I prepared a guidebook which called The Blueprint for the Life You Dream of, that you can take in order to discover what it is that you want, what impact you want to have on the world, what really speaks to you, what you care about deeply, that you feel a desire to do, a change that you want to drive in the world. So this is a great guidebook for you to take your self-discovery journey. So you'll discover what is your purpose, what is your passion, what is your big desire, the thing that you really want to do. And so this is the first step, to have a clearly defined desire. Before that, you can't really create the life that you dream of because you don't know what is the life that you want. So this is the first step that we all must take first before we continue on this journey. I'll put a link to this guidebook in the description below, so check it out. So once we have that clearly defined burning desire, then we can look at the next steps. And this is where Napoleon Hill is speaking about having a conviction, knowing that this is what you want to get, this is what you want to achieve, that there is no plan B, that you put all of your effort, all of your energy, all of your time into that specific goal. You have one goal that you want to achieve, and you do everything you can to make it happen. And so if you create a plan B, if you think to yourself, okay, I'll try to do that, and if I'll fail, worst case, I'll move to plan B, then immediately in your mind, you don't believe in yourself. You don't fully believe that you can make it happen, and you create a plan B. And that means that you won't dedicate all your effort into achieving the goal that you really desire. And so this is why it's important not to have a plan B, just to know, this is what I'm going to do. This is the goal that I have, and I'm going to turn it into a reality, no matter what, no matter how long it's going to take me, no matter how much effort I need to put in. This is it. There is no plan B for me. So for example, when you think about it or when you talk about it, you need to change your thinking from I will try to do this or I will try to achieve that to I will do it, with full conviction, full belief in yourself and your capabilities. You know that you're going to make it happen. It's just a question of how long it's going to take you to get there, but you know that you're going to get there no matter what. And this is where Napoleon Hill is sharing a story about the burning boats. I don't know if you heard about it or not, but he's sharing a story about a general who took soldiers in a few boats they needed to go and fight on an island. And as they reached the island, all the soldiers got off the boats into the island, and then the general gave a command to burn the boats. So they burned all the boats. And then he spoke to his soldiers and he said, okay, the only way we get out of this island alive is if we're gonna win this battle. There is no other way. We have no boats to retrieve to. So we must win if we want to survive. And so the soldier had no choice, right? They had to either win or die. And so they won the battle. And this is why Napoleon Hill talks about the need to have strong conviction, to know that this is it, right? I'm making that happen no matter what. There is no plan B. There is no other way. I'm going to do it. So it's important to cultivate this conviction and self-belief, to know that, yes, I'm going to make it happen no matter what. And then Napoleon Hill continues to talk about the need to have a plan. So you need to be a practical dreamer, right? It's important to be a dreamer because you need to dream of your desired future. But you also must become a practical dreamer, which means you need to have a plan as to how you're going to make it happen. You need to make it a reality, right? Not leave it as a dream. And so this is where Napoleon Hill is saying there is a 5 steps process that you must follow. This is your formula to make it happen. And he says the first thing that you must do is write down the sum, the amount of money that you want to acquire. So in this case, he's talking about money, right? But generally speaking, this book is about creating a mind of abundance and creating, achieving your goal, no matter what your goal is. So it doesn't matter if you want to acquire more wealth, or if you want to become a healthy person, or if you want to have loving relationships. So whatever your goal is, you can achieve it through following the steps in these books, through following this guideline. But since he's talking specifically about wealth, he's saying, okay, you need to state the exact amount of money that you want to acquire. What is the number? Be very specific. Is it, do you want to be able to earn $8,000 a month? Do you want to be able to earn $15,000 a month? Or maybe you want just a specific sum of money to achieve by a specific date. So you need to really think and articulate clearly and write it down. This is a sum of money that I want to have. And the next step is to think about, okay, what is the cost to achieving that, right? Because everything has a cost. And if we want to achieve something, we need to pay something for it. So what is the price that you're willing to pay to achieve what you desire to have? And you need to, again, think about it and articulate clearly, what is it that you're giving up? For example, it can be, I'm giving up on watching TV every evening. I'm giving up on socializing with friends during the weekends. I'm giving up on scrolling on social media, whatever it might be, right? Or it might be different things, but you need to think about, okay, what is the price I'm willing to pay in order to achieve the life I desire to have, in order to achieve my goal? And write it down, take a notebook. For example, I have my own notebook, Think and Grow Rich notebook, where I actually wrote down everything I'm sharing with you now. I wrote it down for myself. And so take a notebook and write down everything. And then the third thing you need to do is to specify the date that you want to achieve that sum of money by. And be very specific. I want to achieve it by, I don't know, 1st of January this year, right? Or 8th of September this year. Whatever it might be, write down the specific date that you plan to have the money with you. And then the 4th step is to create a plan. So right now, you know what is your goal, all right? How much money you want to acquire, by what date, and what you're willing to give up to have it. What is the price that you're willing to pay? And now you need to come up with a plan. Okay, how do you plan to make it happen? What do you need to do in order to turn it into a reality? And again, be specific. Write the exact plan, all the steps that you need to do, all the things that you need to follow in order to turn your desire into a reality. So write it down as well in your notebook. And then the fifth step, the last one, is that you need to read it out loud every morning after you wake up, and every night before you go to bed. And it's not enough just to read it out loud. When you read it, you need to imagine yourself already achieving that, already achieving what you desired. You need to actually feel it in your body. You need to be there in that future that you want to create for yourself, as if it's already here, existing for you. And now Napoleon Hill says that he can't really explain it scientifically why it works, but he said this works. This process that I just mentioned to you, this is how Andrew Carnegie accumulated over $100 million. And this is how Thomas Edison achieved his success. And he says that actually Thomas Edison looked at that process that he wrote down, and he gave his stamp of approval. He said, yes, you must follow this process to achieve any goal that you have, any goal that you articulate clearly. These are the steps that you must follow to turn it into a reality. And so Napoleon Hill kind of continued and say, I can't really explain why it works, but it works, so you must follow it. And this was another surprise for me. But before I jump into that, I created a workbook, the Think and Grow Rich workbook, that goes along with the videos and has the information from each video and also the action you need to take. So you can download this workbook and you'll have all the steps that you need to follow in order to turn your clearly articulate goal and desire into a reality. So I'll place the link to that in the description below. You can grab it from there. And so Napoleon Hill continues to talk about how, yeah, this is work. This was proven by so many successful people. This is the process you must follow. And then he has another interesting sentence in that chapter where he says that people who achieve what they dreamed of, what they desire, had to go through some sort of crisis. There was something very dramatic that happened in their life that kind of triggered them becoming that new person, like adopting that new identity, new personality of that successful person that have abundance in their life. And all of that was really interesting for me to read and also surprised me, because I've been following the work of Joe Dispenza for many, many years. I don't know if you heard about him. He's a doctor, and he has actually a fascinating story. He's been through an accident, and the doctor said he won't be able to walk, and he just refused to accept it. And he used the power of his mind to heal himself. And since then, he's been researching that area of using the power of your mind to achieve what you desire, to achieve whether health or wealth or loving relationships, whatever it might be. And so everything that Napoleon Hill mentioned in that chapter, it's actually, this is the research that Dr. Joe Dispenza has been doing for so many years. And now we have that scientific proven, we have that scientific proof that this is working. Because this is what actually Dr. Joe Dispenza is doing. He proved how this is working, what's happening in our mind, and why this is working. So what he explained is that when you imagine yourself in that future state, when you see yourself as that person who already achieved the life you desired, who already have a life of abundance, the brain doesn't really know actually to differentiate between the reality and what we imagine. So the imagination is so powerful that the brain perceives it as the reality. So if you actually imagine yourself there, the brain thinks that you're already there, you're already that person who achieved that success, who achieved that goal, who lives in abundance. And so this translates to what you do, how you behave, how you talk. The brain actually create that energy of that person who has already achieved all of that. And so Dr. Joe Dispenza actually talks about it, and I'm going to link an interview with him that talks exactly about that. I'll put it in the description below so you can have a look if you're interested to learn more about it. But he talks about, again, how to achieve abundance. He said that most of us live in a mindset of lack, right? We lack in wealth, or we lack in loving relationships, or we lack in health. There is some lack in our life. And so our brain operates from a place of lacking. And this is kind of stops us from achieving what we really desire to achieve, because we think from that place. And that translates to the action that we do, how we think, what we say. And that's why we stay in that state of lack. So he's saying that in order to reach a place of abundance, and whatever that abundance might be to you, it might be generating wealth, it might be that you want to become healthier, it might be that you want to have lots of loving relationships in your life, whatever it might be, the way to do it is through using the power of your mind. And it's the same thing that Napoleon Hill was saying, right? He's saying you need to become that person. He said in order to achieve what you desire, you need to become a different person, that person of abundance, that person of success. And the way to become that person is by imagining yourself already in that future. But it's not enough to think about it, to say to yourself, because some people talk about affirmation, right? Telling yourself, I am successful, I am wealthy. That is not enough, because even though you say it and your mind, you might think that, but your body is going to tell you, okay, I don't buy it, I don't believe it. You can continue saying that, but I don't think it. And so it's not enough just to say this affirmation, just to think it. You need to actually believe in it. You need to feel it. Your whole body needs to feel it in order for that to actually have an impact on you. And this is why you need to imagine that future, and you need to feel it in your body, the emotion. What does it mean to be a person of abundance? What does it mean to have wealth? What does it mean to have lots of loving relationships? What does it mean to be healthy? How does that person feels? How do they behave? And start thinking and behaving like that person. For example, start feeling that gratitude for being healthy, for having a healthy body, or start feeling blessed because you are surrounded by loving relationships, or start feeling the abundance of having wealth, of having enough money to do everything you want to do, and become that person. So the process of becoming successful and achieving your goals is by becoming that different person, becoming that person of abundance, that person who thinks differently, behaves differently, talks differently. And by doing that, by starting to do these things, you actually gonna take the action that's gonna bring you to that desired future. But the way to get there is actually it's counterintuitive, because you first need to imagine you're already there. You first need to already feel the emotion of being in that future. You need to imagine that you are that person in order to get there. And so this is why it's so important to do that, to go through that steps, that process that I mentioned to you. And again, download the workbook of Think and Grow Rich, and you'll have all that information there, all the steps that you need to follow. And every morning and every evening, read it out loud. And when you read it, really imagine yourself in that future. See yourself already experiencing abundance. Become that person, because this is what's going to lead you to this future. So if you don't know what you desire to have yet, if you don't know what your purpose is yet, the first step for you is to go on that self-discovery journey. And I link my guidebook, The Blueprint to the Life You Dream of, in the description below, because this is the first step you must do before you can continue with the rest of that process. And download again the workbook that goes with the videos so you can follow the process. And we're doing that together, right? I have my notebook here where I'm doing everything, and you're going to have yours. And so let me know in the comment how your journey is going, what progress are you making, and if you need any help with any particular thing, let me know in the comments. Okay, so this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video.